in the government of Tony Blair, allowing foreigners to come in by the millions. You know why? Because Tony Blair decided these people would vote for him and the Labour government. And so, Tony Blair came in 1997, right? He left in 2007. He was in office for 10 years. Brexit came on in 2016. After 2 decades, the British have had enough. You know? And don't let those tell you that the people who voted for Brexit were the lowly educated white Brits in Northern England, industrial England, who have been left behind. Many well-educated, high-income Brits couldn't stand the fact that their country was changing out of order, and they revolted as well. And my Singaporeans, my fellow Singaporeans, that is why immigration is a delicate exercise. It is rarely done well and properly. Yes, you must have an immigration policy, but the people you bring in must be able to add value to the country. And I think amongst the countries that have done it most successfully are countries like Australia. But even then, recently, the tide has been rising against increased immigration as well.
Han Hui Hui, Lim Tian has just talked about immigration. Now, every year, on the average, there are 20,000 new citizens granted. Who do you think these new citizens will vote for in the election?
Because new citizens are ultimately Singaporeans, so of course we hope all Singaporeans will vote for a government who will protect their public housing and public health care. But the thing is, there is this theory that all new citizens, in order to thank the PAP for the first time they vote, they will want to vote for the PAP. But there are also more new citizens who are the ones who dare to come out and, come out and say, because most of the Singaporeans, their mindset are very conservative. They are like, oh, my parents say, my grandparents say, so I cannot do all these kind of things. Yeah, but the new citizens are like, oh, my parents and my grandparents are inside the hometown. Yeah, so they actually are the ones who dare to voice out against the government. And most of the time when I see people shouting in public, they are also the new citizens as well. And a lot of the drama that we see online whereby new citizens living in bigger HDB or living in private property shouting against a Singaporean who is working as a delivery person or a Grab driver. So it's usually this kind of situation that happens. And the new citizens are generally the one who will voice out and who will speak out against anything that they feel is unfair or against them.
Now, Lim Tian, you have been very passionate and often accused of being xenophobic over the years.
Oh wait, there is one thing a lot of people like to say, if you are so unhappy, you can just leave Singapore. But the thing is, Lim Tian has no passport, how you want him to leave Singapore? Although I have my passport, I can travel out of Singapore, but I get deported back to Singapore. So why do people always leave this kind of comment asking us to get out of Singapore? And if the AGC were to bankrupt me because $15,000 they can bankrupt someone, then my passport will be gone as well. So we cannot leave Singapore. We will be here, we will be documenting every single thing down, because the Singapore government likes to say that, oh, there is no evidence of the Singapore government having political persecution, there is no evidence of the government targeting any specific individual. So now we are here documenting all these things down to say that yes, political persecution happens in Singapore. Just because no journalists die doesn't mean that our press freedom ranking is high above. Doesn't mean that what you are reading from the mainstream media are not playing propaganda from the PAP government.
My fellow Singaporeans, let me add one point. Han Hui Hui was ordered by the court to pay $22,000 to the AGC. Now, this is on what is known as party costs, all right? Usually when you lose in a litigation, you have to pay the other side's costs. And of course, what comes into play then is how much are the legal fees he's had to expend in defending or bringing the claim. But you think about it. The AGC, every single lawyer in there, including the Attorney General, is paid by the citizens of Singapore. Yeah? Paid by the citizens of Singapore. The AGC doesn't have to go and spend money hiring lawyers to defend Han Hui Hui's judicial review, Han Hui Hui and 5 others' judicial review. So, I went to court and I said, this is public interest litigation. Why does Han Hui Hui have to pay this amount? Of course, the court disagreed. But think about it. What has the Attorney General's chambers lost? Every single one of them in there is paid out of your pockets. Alright? So, my friends, I ask you once again to be generous, to help Hui Hui out of this situation. We can do it easily. We have done it before, and we change. We made history in Zihian's case, in Terry's case, in Yearning's case. Let's do it once more.
Lim Tian, since Han Hui Hui has told the whole world that you don't have your passport with you, why is it that you don't have your passport with you?
Oh, when I was charged, my passport was impounded. Alright? So, that's the reason why. So I've got to go to court and apply for my passport every time I want to travel. I'm not bothered. Yeah? I'm going to stay in Singapore, as I have said previously, and watch the change take place. Yeah? I'm happy here. If need be, if I need to travel, I will apply for my passport and I'll travel. Of course, that is a bit of a hindrance because, going to court and all that is troublesome. I'm not as free as I used to be able to just hop onto a plane, go and see my client, go and do marketing, which is important, even for a lawyer. But, I'm not going to let that deter me or stop me from speaking the truth. Yes.
Lim Tian, I'm curious, so how long has your passport been impounded already?
My passport has been impounded ever since I was arrested 4 days before I defended Leong Zihian in the defamation trial. Zihian's trial started either on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I was arrested on the Friday when I was working with him in my office. So this was in 2020. So it has been more than 2 years now. Yeah, more than 2 years now. But I'm not dying, and so we take it as it comes, and we will resolve issues as they come along.
When do you think you will get your passport back?
Oh, that I don't know. And I am not making any plans based on when I will get my passport back. I'm happy to stay in Singapore and to watch how things play out. As I have said many times, and even in the previous video with Hui Hui, I expect dramatic political changes in this country this decade. Alright, dramatic political changes. So I will be a happy, bystander or watcher, or maybe I'm a participant in actual fact. Yeah, but I want to see my country change for the better.
Now, Lim Tian, as I was trying to say until Han Hui Hui cut me off again, that over the years you have been very passionate about the impact on Singaporean workers of foreign talent. I want to give you some numbers and hear your thoughts on this. From 2005 to 2020, 15 years, foreign workers' growth was 748,300.